As the church bells rang, my mother smiled. "Let me hold this. You're busy with photos." 5 minutes later, the heirloom necklace my in-laws just gave me was on my sister's neck, the sister who only knew how to take. I looked straight into the camera lens and smiled. They thought I would stay silent on my own wedding day. They didn't know I had prepared a different script, complete with lights, witnesses, and signatures. My name is Mara Kent. I am 29 years old, and as I stand here, I am the picture of a modern American bride. The air inside St. Walder's Church is heavy, almost suffocating. This is Hollow Creek's most prestigious monument to faith, a place of soaring white domes and stained glass that fractures the afternoon light into bruised purples and blues. The scent is overwhelming, a thick, sweet blanket of lilies of the valley, sharp and funereal, layered over the biting, chemical tang of freshly polished wood. It's the smell of solemnity, of tradition. It's the smell of a trap. My dress is not white. It is a severe, architectural column of ivory satin. It feels heavy, cool against my skin, structured more like armor than a celebration. In my hands, I'm gripping a tight, dense bouquet of white peonies, their petals still closed, hard as fists. I feel the gaze of my new husband, Liam Rookwood. He is a good man, decent and kind, and entirely oblivious to the undercurrent swirling in this small chapel. He sees a bride. He doesn't see the strategist. The vows are done. The rings are exchanged. We are in the small, private sacristy just off the altar for the signing of the register and the Rookwood family tradition. Liam's grandmother, Eleanor Rookwood, steps forward. She is the matriarch, a woman forged from old money and quiet power. Her voice is like dry parchment, rustling with authority. "Mara," she says, her eyes clear and assessing. "As the newest woman to bear the Rookwood name, it is our honor to welcome you with the traditional gift." She nods, not to me, but to a man in a dark suit standing discreetly in the corner. He is not a guest. He is from the Rookwood family jeweler. He steps forward holding a polished silver tray. On it rests a rectangular, deep blue velvet box. With a quiet click, he opens it. The Rookwood pearls. They aren't just pearls, they are the pearls. 3 strands of perfectly matched cream rose orbs that glow with a luster money can't just buy. It has to be inherited. The clasp is a heavy, intricate knot of antique platinum, seeded with small diamonds. They are legendary in their circles, a symbol not just of wealth, but of inclusion, of dynasty. This necklace has been worn by every Rookwood bride on her wedding day for 120 years, Eleanor continues, her gaze fixed on me. It is now yours to wear for the reception, and yours to pass down. The jeweler, with a reverence that is almost theatrical, steps aside to reveal a second item on the tray, a slim, leather-bound folio. "And, of course," the jeweler adds, his voice a professional murmur, "the updated appraisal and the certificate of insurance, effective today, in Mrs. Mara Kent Rookwood's name." He hands the folio to Liam's father, who accepts it with a solemn nod. The message is unmistakable. This is not a trinket. It is a significant, documented, and heavily insured asset. Liam beams, his eyes shining. "Mara, they're beautiful. Grandmother, thank you." He reaches for the box. "Let me put them on you." His fingers are just inches from the velvet when a different hand darts out, quick and practiced. "Oh, let me help, darling." My mother, Evelyn. Her voice is a soft, sweet treacle, the tone she uses when she is about to take something. She gently pushes Liam's hand aside, a cloud of her lavender perfume instantly warring with the lilies in the air. "You're already wearing your veil, and you're about to be pulled in every direction for photos," she coos, leaning in, her smile wide and maternal for the audience. "You don't want to be fussing with a difficult clasp right now. It's too precious to risk." She lifts the heavy box from the silver tray. The transfer is so smooth, so proprietary, that Liam, ever polite, simply lets his hand fall. "I'll just pop this in the bridal dressing room for you," she says to the room at large. "It will be perfectly safe there until the reception. Let me hold it for you. It's the least I can do." Eleanor Rookwood's smile tightens by a single, almost imperceptible millimeter. The jeweler's eyebrow ticks upward. Liam's father clears his throat, his expression perfectly neutral. "That is very thoughtful of you, Evelyn." "Of course," my mother replies, her smile dazzling. "Anything for my girl on her big day." She turns. The heavy ivory satin of my dress roots me to the spot. But her lavender crepe de chine suit moves like water. She glides across the marble floor to the heavy oak door of the bridal dressing room. The blue velvet box held firmly in her hand. The door clicks shut behind her. The entire transaction took less than 15 seconds, a bloodless coup, performed in plain sight, perfectly disguised as motherly care. The photographer, a young woman oblivious to the power play that just occurred, claps her hands. "Wonderful. Okay, let's get the full family photos before we head to the reception line. Both families together, right here by the altar." We arrange ourselves, the Rookwoods on Liam's side, elegant, composed, pillars of quiet strength and understated linen, and my family on mine. My father, David, claps Liam on the shoulder, a booming, false laugh echoing unnaturally in the sacred space. "Welcome to the madhouse, son." My mother, Evelyn, slides in on my right, radiating manufactured warmth, her hand squeezing my arm. My beautiful, beautiful daughter. And then my sister, Wren. The door to the dressing room clicks open. Wren emerges, fluffing her hair, as my maid of honor. Her dress is a shade of blush so pale it's almost white. A strategic choice I'm sure she and my mother colluded on. "Sorry," she beams, her voice light and airy. "Had to touch up my lipstick. The crying, you know." She's not cried a single tear. She takes her designated spot on my left, effectively sandwiching me between my two primary architects of ruin. "Okay, everyone," the photographer commands. "Big smiles. Look right here. 1, 2, 3. I smile. My face is a perfect porcelain mask. I have practiced this smile in the mirror. It is the smile of the dutiful daughter, the happy bride. And as the flashbulb prepares to pop, my eyes, without moving my head, flicker to Wren. The blue velvet box is gone. It is not in her hands. It is not in my mother's. It is on her neck. The Rookwood pearls, the 3 strands of dynasty, identity, and staggering financial value are settled against the freckled, 26-year-old skin of my sister. The sister who has never worked for anything. The sister who is not married, not engaged, not even in a relationship. The sister who breathes entitlement like oxygen and exhales grievance. They look obscene against her blush-pink dress. They look stolen. I feel the blood drain from my face, but the smile holds. My father, David, sees me look. He sees the pearls on Wren. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't register shock. He simply reaches over, his large hand moving with practiced ease, pretending to adjust the chiffon shawl on Wren's shoulder. His body momentarily blocks the photographer's direct line of sight to her neck. "Chin up, girls," he says, his voice hearty and false. "Show those teeth." When he moves his hand, I see it. He wasn't just adjusting the shawl. He was hiding Wren's smirk, that small, triumphant, familiar curl of the lips that said, "I got it. It's mine now. What are you going to do about it?" The flash pops, searing the image into history. The bride, flanked by her smiling family, the evidence of the theft shining brightly on her sister's throat. We break formation. The organ swells with something triumphant as we move to the church vestibule for the receiving line. Guests begin to file out, ready to throw confetti and blow bubbles. Eleanor Rookwood is the first to approach us. Her face is a polite granite. She kisses Liam's cheek. She turns to me. Her eyes meet mine, then travel, deliberately, down to my bare neck, and then, just as deliberately, over to Wren, who is busy accepting a congratulation from an uncle. Eleanor's eyes narrow. The pearls are unmissable. My mother, ever the strategist, steps in before the silence can curdle. "Oh, Eleanor, isn't it just lovely?" Her voice is a cascade of social grace. "Wren adored it so much when I was putting it away. I just had to let her try it on for the family photos. You know, sisters, always sharing everything, even on the wedding day." Wren, hearing her cue, giggles. It's a sound like sand on glass. "It's just so beautiful. Mrs. Rookwood, Mara is the luckiest girl in the world. I just wanted to feel what it was like for 1 second. I'll give it right back. I promise." She fingers the clasp, her expression one of childish awe. It's a performance she's perfected. My father joins the defense, sealing the narrative. "An innocent mistake, really. A bit of sisterly fun. We were all in the dressing room. Evelyn was holding it, and Wren just fell in love. We'll get it right back to Mara before the reception dinner." He winks at Liam's father, as if sharing a charming, harmless family secret. The Rookwoods are trapped. They are pillars of etiquette. To call out the lie, to say, "That is an insured heirloom with a legal certificate of transfer, not a costume prop for your other daughter," would be to create a scene. It would be vulgar. It would be tacky. And the Rookwoods are never tacky. Liam's father, a man who negotiates multi-billion-dollar mergers, forces a tight smile. Of course, a lovely sentiment. Sisterly affection. They are normalizing it, gaslighting the entire situation. They are turning a brazen act of theft and profound disrespect into a harmless little mix-up. They are relying on my history. They are counting on my lifelong training of swallowing my own humiliation to keep their social fabric smooth. I stand there, my smile frozen in place. Liam is busy shaking hands with a cousin, oblivious. I am utterly alone in this moment. I lift my hand, my fingers in their pristine ivory gloves, and touch my neck, right at the hollow of my throat. The satin of my dress is smooth, but beneath it, my skin is cold. I feel the bare, empty space where the pearls were meant to be, the anticipated weight, a symbol of my new life, my new family, is gone. In its place, there is just this cold, hollow gap. It's a familiar feeling, the feeling of being erased, the feeling of my boundaries being treated as invisible lines, suggestions to be ignored, the feeling of being collateral damage in my own life. I hear a sound. It's not the organ music. It's not the bright laughter of the guests. It's a sound from deep within me. It is the dry, hollow click of my own self-respect, a mechanism finally, irrevocably, locking into place. The final tumbler has fallen. They think I am the same Mara Kent I have always been, the one who absorbs the blow, the one who cries in the bathroom, the one who lets it go because family is family, and don't make a scene. Don't make a... My mother catches my eye from across the line. She gives me a tiny, warning shake of the head. "Don't you dare!" My father glances at me. His look is one of casual dismissal. "It's just jewelry. Don't be dramatic. Don't ruin this." Wren. Wren just beams, her hand fluttering to her throat, her fingers caressing my pearls. I turn my head, just slightly, toward the stained glass window of St. Sebastian. Tucked into the beams of the choir loft, almost invisible against the dark wood, is a small, matte black lens. My videographer, not the main shooter, the one who is currently capturing the smiling guests with a large, fluffy microphone. This is the other one, the documentary shooter, the one I hired separately, off the books, from a corporate surveillance firm, the one I'm paying an exorbitant, non-negotiable fee for archival footage. I look straight at him. I hold his gaze through the glass. My bridal smile is gone. My face is calm, cold, and clear. I don't nod. I don't wave. I simply meet his eye. And I lift my gloved hand. I tap my bare collarbone. Twice. It is the signal. A plan I have spent 6 months building. A complex architecture of contracts, cameras, insurance riders, and legal clauses has just been activated. My mother thinks she stole a necklace. My father thinks he managed a minor social embarrassment. Ren thinks she won. They are all wrong. They just walked, smiling and radiant, into a meticulously documented, high-definition felony, and I, the bride, am the complaining witness. The organ swells for the recessional. Liam takes my hand, his palm warm and strong. "Ready to go, Mrs. Rookwood?" he whispers, his eyes full of nothing but love. I turn to my new husband, and this time, my smile is absolutely genuine. "I am," I say, "more than you know." The great oak doors of St. Alders open, flooding the vestibule with sunlight. We step out into the shower of confetti, the cheers of our friends, and the first act of my real wedding present, the one I'm giving to myself. The plan is in motion. The drive to Ember Hall, the reception venue, is a 10-minute slice of suspended reality. Liam sits beside me in the back of the vintage Rolls-Royce, holding my hand, his thumb stroking my gloved knuckles. He is talking about our honeymoon in Italy, about the light in Tuscany, his voice a low, happy murmur. I nod and smile, making the right sounds in the right places. But my mind is not in this car. It is spooling backward, replaying the decades of rehearsals that led to today's grand performance. My mother's core philosophy, the gospel she preached from the moment I could understand words, was simple. Don't make others uncomfortable. It sounded like a virtue, like a lesson in empathy and social grace, but in the specific dialect of our family, it had a very different translation. Your feelings are a social inconvenience. Swallow them. And since Ren's primary state of being was a constant, simmering discontent whenever she didn't have what she wanted, my mother's rule really meant one thing: give Ren what she wants, so the rest of us don't have to deal with her. I was 5 when I learned this lesson. I had a small, painted music box that played a tinny, off-key version of Clair de Lune. It was the only thing I owned that was truly mine, a gift from a visiting aunt who saw me, not just the daughter of David and Evelyn Kent. Ren, who was 3, decided she wanted it. When I refused, she threw a tantrum that shook the house. My mother didn't scold Ren. She knelt in front of me, her face a mask of pained disappointment. "Mara, darling, look at your sister. You're making her so upset. Can't you just share? Don't make everyone so uncomfortable." I handed over the music box. Ren broke the ballerina's head off within an hour. I was told not to cry about it because that, too, would make people uncomfortable. This became the foundational script of our lives. Ren grew up bathed in the warm sunlight of praise and indulgence. She was the orchid in the hothouse. I was raised in the cool, functional shadow of responsibility. I was the list of chores tacked to the refrigerator. She was told she was special. I was told I was dependable. In our family, one was a compliment, the other a life sentence. The pattern escalated, as patterns do. When I was 16 and won a prestigious regional science fair, my parents insisted Ren stand next to me in the celebratory photo, holding the corner of the oversized check. "It's a family achievement," my father announced to the local photographer. When I received my first car, a sensible used sedan I had saved for by working weekends, Ren was given the spare set of keys for emergencies, which became a synonym for whenever she wanted to borrow it and return it with the gas tank on empty. The day Liam proposed was the dress rehearsal for my wedding day. He had presented me with a beautiful, simple solitaire, exactly what I wanted. He'd also, thoughtfully, purchased a second, more ornate backup ring from the same jeweler, in case I preferred a different style, with the understanding that we would return the one I didn't choose. We went to my parents' house to share the news. My mother cried her performative tears. My father shook Liam's hand with the booming enthusiasm of a man who has just closed a favorable deal, and Ren's eyes fixed on the velvet box containing the backup ring. "Oh, that one is so much more photogenic," she declared, her voice laced with that familiar, covetous whine. "The diamond is bigger." Before I could speak, my mother was already there, playing the mediator, the smoother of social fabrics. "Now, Mara, be generous. It's a day for sharing happiness. Sisters share, don't they? It's not mine to share, I said, my voice quiet but firm. We have to return it. Wren's face clouded over. The tantrum, even at 24, was just beneath the surface. I just want to wear it for a few pictures for my social media, she pouted. To help you announce it, you're being so selfish. My mother sighed, a theatrical sound of maternal exhaustion. Mara, please, don't make this difficult. Don't make your sister uncomfortable on your special day. My special day, and yet, there I was, being cast as the villain for wanting to keep my own engagement news from being hijacked by my sister's Instagram post. I looked at my father for support. He just shrugged, his expression saying, "It's easier to just let her have it." So I let her. Wren slipped the ornate ring on her finger, snapping a dozen photos, her hand artfully posed. The ring was not returned to its box until the next day, after I made 3 separate, increasingly tense phone calls. Even then, it came back with a smudge of foundation on the band. My father, David, operates on a different, but parallel, track. If my mother's currency is the avoidance of social discomfort, his is the acquisition of social capital. He does not see me as a daughter so much as a high-performing asset in his personal portfolio. The Kent family success story. My achievements are not sources of pride, but of leverage. The most egregious example was my college scholarship. I had worked relentlessly through high school, sacrificing social events for late nights in the library, and I earned a full academic scholarship to a top-tier university. I told my parents quietly, a personal, private victory. A week later, the story was on the front page of the Hollow Creek Chronicle. Not just the story, but the exact financial details of the scholarship, the private, heartfelt essay I had written for the application, and a glossy photo of my father, his arm around my shoulder, quoted extensively on the principles of hard work and academic focus we instilled in our children from a young age. He had sold my private accomplishment. He had packaged my soul and effort into a self-congratulatory press release to bolster his image as a pillar of the community. The man who raised a brilliant daughter, when I confronted him, his confusion was genuine. What's the problem? This makes us all look good. This is a win for the family. He could not comprehend the violation. He could not understand that my life was not his public relations campaign. Through these thousands of tiny cuts, these constant, bleeding boundary violations, I learned a fundamental lesson. They will only ever take what you leave unguarded. They will only ever push until they hit a wall. For 29 years, I had been an open field. My mistake was thinking that politeness was a shield. I finally understood that for people like my parents and my sister, politeness is a welcome mat. Their version of family is a stage play, a meticulously crafted production for the benefit of an audience. Neighbors, friends, the Rookwoods. In this play, we are the perfect, supportive, all-American family. My father is the proud patriarch. My mother is the gracious matriarch. Wren is the sparkling, charming ingenue. And I? My role has always been that of the stagehand and the primary prop. I am the one who ensures the lights are working. The scenery is in place, and when they need an object to signify their generosity or success, they pick me up and display me, before setting me back down in the shadows when my part is done. So when my mother's hand intercepted the Rookwood pearls today, it wasn't a surprise. It was just the opening scene of their favorite drama, performed on a bigger stage. The lines were the same, the blocking was familiar. They expected me to play my part, the silent, accommodating prop who exists to make the stars of the show look and feel good. But they didn't know something crucial. They didn't know that after the engagement ring incident, I had a quiet meeting with a man who wasn't a wedding planner, but a crisis management consultant. They didn't know I had spent the last year reading not bridal magazines, but books on narcissistic family systems and contract law. They thought they were walking onto their familiar, comfortable stage. They didn't realize that this production has a new director, me. And the central prop in my version of the play isn't my silent compliance. It's not a necklace. It's a signed, notarized, and legally ironclad contract. The Rolls-Royce glides to a smooth stop under the grand portico of Ember Hall. The uniformed doorman opens my door. The low, pleasant hum of the cocktail hour spills out. Clinking glasses, soft jazz, the murmur of polite conversation. Liam gets out and offers me his hand. "Ready for our grand entrance?" he asks, his face alight with uncomplicated joy. I take his hand, the satin of my dress rustling as I step onto the red carpet. I look at the grand doors, behind which my family is already mingling, performing their roles, with Wren undoubtedly holding court, the pearls a glittering trophy on her chest. "Absolutely," I say, and my smile is no longer a mask, it's a promise. Let the show begin. The grand entrance to Ember Hall is a performance of its own. Liam and I pause under the magnificent archway as the band leader announces us for the first time as Mr. and Mrs. Rookwood. A wave of applause and warm faces rises to greet us. It is a perfect moment, a flawless tableau. And like any flawless performance, it is built on a mountain of unseen, meticulous, and ruthless preparation. My plan did not begin this morning. It began 6 months ago, in a sterile, soundproofed conference room in an office park 30 miles from Hollow Creek. The man across the table from me was not a wedding consultant. He was a former federal prosecutor who now ran a high-end corporate security and risk assessment firm. "So, you want to produce a wedding documentary?" he'd said, his face impassive. "That's right," I replied, meeting his gaze. "A very specific kind of documentary. I want to capture the raw, unfiltered, behind-the-scenes moments, the real story." He understood immediately that "real story" was a code word. We spent the next hour not discussing floral arrangements, but camera placement, chain of custody for evidence, and the legalities of recording in a private venue. The result is the small, discreet army of technicians currently disguised as a hip, artistic film crew, my official wedding videographer. The one my mother helped me select is a perfectly competent man who shoots gauzy, romantic footage. He is currently focused on Liam and me, my actual crew. The one I am paying for with a wire transfer from a private account is documenting something else entirely. Their cameras are not hidden. That was the first rule my consultant laid down. Covert recording raises questions of admissibility. Overt recording, with clear and prominent notification, is simply a condition of attendance. So, we made it a feature, not a bug. Small, elegant signs, printed in the same calligraphy as the wedding invitations, are placed at every entrance. The bride and groom are creating a documentary film of their special day. Your presence here constitutes consent to be filmed. Thank you for sharing in our story. Similar signs are placed in the bridal dressing room at the church, in the hallways, and most importantly, on a tasteful stanchion directly in front of the gift table here at Ember Hall. The cameras themselves are small, high definition, and strategically mounted. They are positioned to look like security cameras that are part of the venue's system, blending in perfectly. There is one in the corner of the church's dressing room, with a clear view of the entire space. There is one covering the hallway between the sacristy and that room, and there are 3 separate angles on the gift table. The entire operation is flawlessly legal, ethically transparent, and designed to capture the truth without ambiguity. The second pillar of my plan was the paperwork, the Rookwood pearls. I knew would be the centerpiece of my family's performance. The temptation would be irresistible, so I had to transform them from a piece of jewelry into a legally binding weapon. 3 months ago, I had a private lunch with Eleanor Rookwood and the family's longtime attorney. I framed my request in the language they would understand best: respect for tradition, combined with modern prudence. "Eleanor," I'd said, "the tradition of the pearls is the most beautiful and meaningful part of this wedding for me. It's about more than just the necklace. It's about being welcomed into your family's history." She had nodded, her eyes warm. "To honor that," I continued, "I want to ensure every detail is handled with the seriousness it deserves. The way traditions are preserved is by treating them with formal respect, I would be honored if we could have the official transfer of ownership and insurance documented to take place immediately following the ceremony, as is the custom, but formalized in writing at that exact time. The lawyer, a sharp man named Mr. Davies, had looked intrigued. A formal deed of gift? Precisely, I confirmed. A document that states the pearls become my legal property at the moment they are given. It feels like the proper, modern way to respect the gravity of such a gift. Eleanor had been impressed. That is a very thoughtful, very Rookwood way of thinking. Mara, prudent. I appreciate that. Mr. Davies drafted the document. It was a simple, one-page deed of gift, transferring ownership of the asset listed as the Rookwood Pearl Necklace, appraised value. The number had 6 zeros. From the Rookwood Family Trust to Mara Kent Rookwood. The effective time of transfer was to be noted and initialed by Mr. Davies himself. And then I asked for one small addition, a single clause. I claimed it was for my own peace of mind. Given the value of the item, the clause read, "In the event of the asset's loss, damage, or misappropriation due to willful action or gross negligence, the undersigned beneficiary agrees that this document will serve as a formal complaint to initiate any and all relevant civil and criminal investigations. This clause is binding and may not be withdrawn by any single party after the execution of this document." Mr. Davies had raised an eyebrow. That's a rather robust clause. I worry, I'd said, my voice soft with feigned vulnerability. An item of such value, both sentimental and financial, I want to ensure that every possible safeguard is in place. It's just for my own peace of mind. To them, it looked like I was a responsible, if slightly anxious, future steward of their heirloom. They saw a young woman taking her new role seriously. They couldn't possibly know the clause wasn't designed to protect the pearls from a hypothetical thief, but from my own mother. The Rookwood family trustees signed their part a week before the wedding, this morning, a half hour before I walked down the aisle. In the quiet of the sacristy, Mr. Davies approached me with the document. "Mara," he'd said in a low voice, "it is 1:45 p.m. Are you ready to execute the transfer?" "I am," I'd replied. I signed my name. He initialed the time, made a precise note in his log, and handed me a copy. He retained the original. As of that moment, the trap was set. The final piece was ensuring my family could never claim ignorance. A week ago, I sent a group email to my parents and Wren. The subject line was, "Final wedding day, schedule and important info." It was a cheerful, logistical email, full of timings for limousines and reminders about photo sessions. Buried in the middle, between a note about the florist and a link to the venue's address, was a single, hyperlinked sentence. As a reminder, for insurance and security purposes, all guests are subject to the venue's filming policy and the official wedding gift policy. Please review and acknowledge here. The link led to a simple, one-page document on a secure server. It outlined the filming notice and stated, in clear, unambiguous language, all significant gifts of high value presented on the day will be subject to immediate security protocols. Certain heirloom items will have their legal ownership formally transferred to the recipient upon presentation. Any attempts to remove, transfer, or misappropriate such items from the designated recipient will be handled in accordance with the venue's security policy and the terms of the item's insurance. At the bottom of the page was a single button. I have read and understood this policy. My email was equipped with a tracking pixel. I received 3 separate notifications on my phone that Tuesday evening. Evelyn Kent has clicked the link in your email. David Kent has clicked the link in your email. Wren Kent has clicked the link in your email. I have the timestamps. I have the IP addresses. They cannot say they weren't warned. They saw the words gift policy and assumed it didn't apply to them. Rules, in their world, are for other people. So, as Wren currently flits around the reception hall, laughing and accepting compliments on my necklace, she isn't just wearing a piece of jewelry, she is wearing a piece of evidence. She is draped in a legally documented, fully insured, time-stamped asset that was formally and willfully misappropriated from its legal owner in a room under active, declared surveillance by people who were formally notified of the consequences. Every touch leaves a trace. Every signature tells a story. Every lie is a future exhibit. We have just finished our first dance. Liam is now being swept away by his aunts. My mother approaches me, her smile a little tight. "Darling, I'm going to put the necklace in the venue's safe now. It's not right for Ren to keep wearing it." She's trying to control the narrative, to erase the transgression before it solidifies. "No, that's all right. Mother," I say, my voice light and pleasant. "Let her enjoy it for a little while longer. It seems to be making her so happy." Her eyes narrow. This is not the reaction she expected. She expected me to be flustered, to demand the necklace back in a whisper, to allow her to fix the problem she created. I pat her arm. "Go enjoy the party. I have to just go powder my nose." I walk away from her, my satin dress whispering against the marble floor. I don't go to the powder room. I go to a small, private alcove near the kitchens where my documentary producer is waiting for me, holding a tablet. "We have it," he says, his voice a flat, professional monotone. "Clear audio and video, your mother taking the box, the transfer to your sister in the dressing room, your father obstructing the photographer's view, and we have a high-resolution still of your sister's fingerprints on the clasp as she put it on." I look at the still image on the tablet. Ren's face is a mask of smug triumph as she fumbles with the antique platinum. My mother's hands are visible, helping her secure it. I look up from the screen and see my reflection in a nearby mirror. My veil is off now. My hair is perfectly in place. My makeup is flawless. I look like a bride, but my eyes are cold and clear. I feel a profound, chilling calm settle over me. For 29 years, they have counted on my silence. They have relied on my unwillingness to make a scene. They have built their lives on the foundation of my discomfort. They don't understand that I am not going to make a scene. I am not going to argue or cry or plead. An argument can be dismissed. Hysteria can be ignored. But a video file cannot be refuted. I take a deep breath. The truth doesn't need me to shout it. It just needs me to press play. I step back into the controlled chaos of the cocktail hour at Ember Hall. The vast room, with its vaulted ceilings and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the creek, is a sea of expensive suits and jewel-toned dresses. The air hums with conversation, and the sophisticated strains of a live jazz trio. Liam is instantly pulled away by a flock of his cousins, leaving me at the edge of the room, a perfect vantage point. And there, in the center of it all, is Ren. She is a vortex of attention, standing by the champagne tower, her head tilted back in a theatrical laugh. The rookwood pearls are a beacon against her skin, catching the light from the chandeliers and refracting it across the room. She is not just wearing them, she is wielding them. She holds her champagne flute aloft, her posture deliberately arranged to showcase her throat. She is posing, her body a living advertisement for her own triumph. Her best friend, a girl named Chloe whose loyalty has always been for sale to the highest bidder of drama, slides up to her. I am too far to hear, but I can read lips. I've had a lot of practice. "God, Ren," Chloe mouths, her eyes wide with envy. "That necklace is everything. It is so... you." Ren's smile is slow, smug, and utterly self-satisfied. She takes a delicate sip of champagne. She winks. "Isn't it?" I can almost hear the airy, dismissive tone. "My sister is just so generous." The lie hangs in the air, as glittering and false as a cubic zirconia. Generous, as if I were a participant in this transaction, a willing donor to the Church of St. Ren. My mother, Evelyn, materializes at her side. She doesn't just stand next to Ren. She links her arm through her, turning them into a single, unified front. She steers Ren toward a prominent cluster of my father's business associates, her grip proprietary. She is a handler, her face glowing with the same pride as if Ren had just won an Olympic medal. She is showcasing her prize, her victory, her successful acquisition. My gaze slides from them to the gift table. It's a beautiful damask-draped table near a quiet alcove, right beneath one of my clearly marked documentary cameras. Guests drift by, placing envelopes in a polished silver bird cage or setting larger, ribbon-wrapped boxes beside it. I watch as Liam's parents, the Rookwoods, approach the table. They place a large, heavy gift bag from a high-end department store down. Then, Liam's father, Arthur, takes a thick cream-colored envelope from his inner jacket pocket. It bears the distinctive Rookwood family crest, embossed in navy blue, a personal gift. Likely, a very substantial check. He places it carefully into the mouth of the birdcage. They turn and walk away. A moment later, I see my father, David, drift toward the table. He seems casual, hands in his pockets, nodding at a passing guest. He circles the table once, as if admiring the display. He glances left, then right, then, with a speed that implies decades of practice, his hand darts into the birdcage. He doesn't fumble. He doesn't search. He knows exactly what he's looking for. His fingers bypass the thin, flimsy envelopes from cousins and coworkers and close around the thick, cream-colored Rookwood envelope. In one fluid motion, he palms it, slips it into the inner breast pocket of his tuxedo, and pats it flat. He straightens his tie, his expression one of bored patriarchal duty. He has secured the envelope. He has kept it safe. The small, elegant sign detailing the filming and security policy is clearly visible on a stanchion just 2 feet above his head. He doesn't even see it. It's time. I begin to move through the crowd, a bride on her required path. I accept kisses, return hugs, my smile fixed and pleasant. Thank you. So glad you could make it. Yes, the dress is satin. I am a perfect automaton of bridal grace. I finally reach the magnetic center of the room. Ren, Mother. Darling, my mother turns, her smile bright and brittle. Aren't you just having the most wonderful time? It's unforgettable, I say. My voice is even. I turn to my sister, who is glowing with champagne and stolen luster. Ren. Mara, she gushes. Congratulations. It's all so much, isn't it? It is. I lean in, my arms opening for an embrace. It's a gesture so foreign between us that she stiffens, her smile faltering for a fraction of a second. I press my cheek to hers, my body rigid, my purpose clinical. My gloved hand comes up to her back, near her neck. That necklace looks beautiful on you, I whisper, my voice pitched for her ears alone. I feel her preen, her body relaxing into the lie. Oh, Mara, thank you. Hold on to it tight, I murmur, my lips brushing her ear, my voice dropping into something cold and intimate. You wouldn't want anything to happen to it. I pull back. My tactical mission is complete. My gloved fingers registered 2 critical pieces of information. The first was the clasp itself. Not a simple hook, but an intricate, antique platinum knot. Exactly as I'd seen in the appraisal photos. The second, and more damning, was the scent. As my hand brushed the clasp, I caught the sharp, familiar, and utterly out-of-place smell of lavender. My mother's signature perfume, the same cloying cloud that enveloped me in the sacristy. It's clinging to the metal. It is the physical, olfactory proof of the handover, the ghost of my mother's fingers on my property. As I step away, my secondary photographer, the man I introduced to my family as Marco, my artistic B-roll shooter, sees his cue. Wow! Excuse me. Ren, is it? His voice is loud, full of creative energy. The light from that crystal chandelier is hitting that necklace perfectly. It's divine. Ren, who has never met a camera she didn't love, beams and strikes a pose. Oh, thank you. Can you just stand right here? Marco directs, positioning her directly under the spotlight of the main chandelier. Yes, gorgeous. Tilt your head. Perfect. Now, just for a detail shot for the film. Can you just touch the clasp? Right at the back? As if you're just adjusting it. Yes, exactly like that. Wren, flattered and flush with her own importance, obliges. Her manicured fingers, the nails painted the same blush pink as her dress, go to the back of her neck. Marco's macro lens, a piece of equipment far too sophisticated for a typical wedding shoot, moves in, click, whir, click. He is capturing every filigree of the platinum, every unique luminescent flaw in the adjacent pearls, the serial number on the clasp, and no doubt, the microscopic residue of Wren's foundation and my mother's lavender-scented hand lotion. It is a perfect, undeniable, high-resolution portrait of possession. My work here is done. I turn and walk away as Marco thanks a preening Wren. I find the venue manager, Ms. Alvarez, standing near the grand staircase, her posture as rigid as her clipboard. I had briefed her 2 weeks ago, under the guise of a high-strung, security-conscious bride, worried about her valuable gifts. "Mrs. Rookwood," she greets me, her voice a low, professional monotone. "Ms. Alvarez," I reply, my own voice tight with well-rehearsed distress. "I need to report a problem, a very serious one." Her eyes sharpen. "Go ahead." "The blue velvet box for the heirloom necklace I was given at the church. My mother was holding it for me. I just went to the bridal suite here to check on it, and it's gone. The box is gone." "Are you certain, ma'am?" "Positive. I believe it was in the dressing room at St. Alder's. My mother's personal items were just brought over by your staff." "One moment." She speaks quietly into her walkie-talkie, dispatching a staff member to check the luggage from the church. We wait in a pocket of strained silence. My heart isn't pounding. It is slow, heavy, and methodical. A pump, not a drum. Less than 2 minutes later, a young man in a black waistcoat returns, holding the telltale deep blue velvet box. He hands it to Ms. Alvarez. She opens it, and her face hardens. "Mrs. Rookwood, it's empty." "Empty?" I feign a sharp intake of breath. "No, wait," she says, her fingers probing the inside. "Worse, the original silk and velvet insert. It's been ripped out. This is just an empty shell. It's been intentionally damaged. This is a gift, an escalation I hadn't even counted on. They didn't just take the pearls. They destroyed the box to cover their tracks, to make it look like, I don't even know what. It's sloppy. It's desperate. It is, in legal terms, further proof of intent." "Ms. Alvarez," I say, my voice trembling with just the right amount of bridal panic. "That necklace is insured. That policy was activated today, and now the original, antique box has been destroyed and my necklace is—" I look wildly across the room at Wren. "Oh God." Ms. Alvarez understands. Her professionalism snaps into place like a steel trap. "This is now a security matter, Mrs. Rookwood, and an insurance liability for the venue." "Exactly," I say, grabbing her arm. "The gift room, the rest of the gifts, the envelopes. My father said he put a check from my in-laws in his pocket to keep it safe, but with this, I can't be sure of anything. For the insurance, for the police report we will have to file. We have to secure that room, immediately." "Understood." She speaks into her radio again, this time with a new, sharp authority. "All staff, this is Alvarez. Enact Security Protocol Omega. The gift room is now on lockdown. Post guard 1 at the door. No entry, no exit. I repeat, no one, family, guest, or staff, enters that room. Acknowledge." A crackle comes back, across the hall. I see a uniformed security guard, who had been blending into the architecture, move purposefully to stand directly in front of the gift room door. He clasps his hands in front of him. The room, and my father's stolen envelope, is now sealed. The band leader steps to the microphone. The jazz trio fades out. "Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, if I could have your attention, in just a few moments, we will be serving your first course, but first, a celebratory toast from our wonderful bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Liam Rookwood. A wave of applause. Liam finds me by the staircase, his face a picture of pure, uncomplicated happiness. There you are. Ready? He takes my hand, warm and trusting. We walk to the edge of the dance floor. The lights dim slightly, and a spotlight finds us. The entire room is silent, expectant. I see them all. Eleanor Rookwood, her face polite and waiting. My mother, beaming, her arms still linked with Wren's. My father, standing tall, projecting proud patriarch. And Wren, in the front row, her hand resting delicately on my pearls. Liam speaks first, his toast full of love, gratitude, and humor. He thanks my parents for raising such an incredible, strong, and brilliant woman. My father nods, accepting the praise as his due. Then, Liam hands the microphone to me. I lift my champagne flute. Thank you all so much for being here, I begin. My voice is clear. It does not shake. It means the world to share this day with all of you, to our new family, the Rookwoods. Thank you for welcoming me, and for the incredible, meaningful gift. It means more to me than you know. My eyes meet Eleanor's. I give her a small, private nod. It's okay. I'm handling it. I turn my gaze to the back of the room, to the main camera operator. He is locked on me. I see Marco, my producer, standing near the two large, elegant projection screens that are currently dark, waiting to display the wedding slideshow. He has a headset on. He is ready. I smile. A bright, dazzling, bridal smile. A wedding day is such a special occasion. It's about truth. It's about promises. And it's about clarity, about seeing things exactly as they are. I turn my head, just slightly, and look right at Wren. She smiles back, clueless, raising her glass. This is the moment. I lift my flute high, and then, with one perfectly manicured fingernail, I tap the rim of the crystal glass. Ting. It's a small sound, but in the quiet room, it cuts through the air like a shard of ice. It's not a sound of celebration, it's the signal. Phase 2, go. In the back, Marco nods and speaks into his microphone. The cameras, all 6 of them, stop their romantic, sweeping pans. They lock into position. The main camera zooms tight on my face. The second camera finds Wren. The third locks on my mother and father. The screens behind me flicker, not with pictures of me and Liam as babies, but with the cold, blue-white light of a standby screen. Wren has no idea. She is still smiling, the star of her own imaginary show, bathing in the light. She doesn't realize the script has just been completely rewritten, and the spotlight she loves so much is about to become an interrogation lamp. My toast is finished. The polite applause washes over us, but the silence that follows is heavy, expectant. I don't hand the microphone back to the band leader. I keep it. Liam looks at me, a question in his eyes, but I just give him a reassuring squeeze on his arm. Before we sit for dinner, I say, my voice amplified, rolling smoothly across the silent hall, I want to take a moment to properly acknowledge the tradition I've been so lucky to join today. It's one thing to receive a gift, but it's another to understand the history and the care that goes into preserving it. I scan the crowd. To help me do that, I'd like to invite 2 very important people up here. First, Mr. Davies, the Rookwood family's longtime counsel. I gesture to him. He looks surprised, but stands and makes his way to the dance floor, his face a mask of professional neutrality. And, I continue, a woman who was instrumental in helping me understand the process, Ms. Thorne, from the family's insurance underwriters. Please, Miss Thorne, come on up. A sharp woman in a gray silk suit, who had been sitting quietly at a back table, stands. This is a surprise to everyone, including the Rookwoods. She was on my guest list as Mara's colleague. She walks to the front, her heels clicking with sharp authority. My family is watching me, a new, uneasy tension in their smiles. Wren's hand, I notice, is no longer on the pearls. It's at her side, her fingers clenching. Thank you both for joining me, I say, a perfect, gracious hostess. Mr. Davies, this tradition is so special. I was hoping you could just say a word to our guests about the gravity of it, about what it means to the Rookwood legacy. I hand him the microphone. He is a lawyer, a man who lives in a world of facts and declared truths. He clears his throat, adjusts his glasses, and speaks. Thank you, Mara. It is unusual, he says, with a slight, dry emphasis. But I am happy to. The Rookwood pearls are more than an heirloom. They are a physical representation of the family's continuity. As such, the transfer of this particular asset is a significant legal event. Mrs. Rookwood, Mara, was very specific in her desire to have this event formalized. I can see my mother shift. My father's smile is frozen. Mr. Davies continues, his voice devoid of emotion. Therefore, I can confirm to everyone present that, as per the family trust, and a formal, notarized deed of gift signed this afternoon, the legal and binding ownership of the asset known as the Rookwood Pearl Necklace was transferred to Mrs. Mara Kent Rookwood at exactly. He checks his watch, as if confirming his notes. At exactly 2:17 p.m., in the sacristy of St. Alder's Church. He has just laid the first, unassailable legal foundation. He hands the microphone back to me. Thank you, Mr. Davies, I say, beaming. 2:17 p.m., the exact moment, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because to celebrate that very specific, life-changing moment, my documentary team, who have been capturing everything today, prepared a short video for me, a little surprise for my new family. It's just 3 minutes. Can we roll that, please? I nod to my producer, Marco, in the back. The two large projection screens on either side of the bandstand flicker to life. The room is dark, save for the spotlights on us and the glowing screens. The first image is a medium shot of the church sacristy. The camera angle is high. From the choir loft, the timestamp in the corner reads Est Alders, Cam 1, 2:16:45 p.m. On screen, Liam is saying, "Let me put them on you," and my mother, Evelyn, darts in. Her voice, captured by the discreet microphones, is perfectly clear. "Oh, let me help, darling. Let me hold it for you. It's the least I can do." The video shows her hand, her large sapphire ring glittering, lifting the blue velvet box from the silver tray. The frame freezes. A new shot appears on the adjacent screen. See Malders, hallway cam, 2:17:10 p.m. It shows my mother, walking briskly, not towards the main bridal suite where my things are, but down the opposite hall, towards the smaller room reserved for the bridesmaids, for Wren. The first screen unfreezes. St. Alders. Dressing RM cam, 2:17:30 p.m. The angle is wide. From a corner of the ceiling, my mother enters. Wren is there, in her blush-pink dress, touching up her lipstick. "Look what I have," my mother says, her voice a triumphant whisper. She holds out the blue velvet box. Wren's eyes go wide. She squeals. "You got it! You actually got it!" My mother opens the box. The second screen now switches to dressing RM cam, angle 2, zoom. 2:18:05 p.m. It's a tight, high-definition close-up. We see Wren's hands lifting the 3 strands of pearls. "It's heavy," Wren whispers. "Here, let me," my mother says. The camera zooms tighter as Wren turns her back to the mirror. We see her hands fumbling with the intricate platinum clasp. We then see my mother's hands, the lavender-painted nails, the sapphire ring, pushing Wren's hands aside. "You'll break it. Let me." We see my mother's fingers, stained with her own foundation, expertly securing the clasp. The scent of her lavender perfume feels like it's pumping through the room's ventilation system. The first screen switches back to the wide shot, 2:18:45 p.m. Wren is admiring herself in the mirror, her head high, her hand caressing the pearls, and there, standing in the doorway, his back to the camera, is my father. He is acting as a lookout. Is it done? His voice rumbles. Yes, my mother says. Just perfect. Good, my father says. He glances out into the hall. Coast is clear. Let's go. Don't flash it around until the reception. He turns, and his face is clear for a moment. He's smiling. He steps out of the doorway. The video cuts to black. The silence in Ember Hall is not just quiet. It is a vacuum. It is a physical weight, pressing on everyone. The only sound is the low, electric hum from the speakers. Liam, next to me, is rigid. I can feel the heat radiating from him. He hasn't looked at me. He is staring, his face white, at the spot where my father's face just was. A guest at a front table, an older woman, lets her hand drop, and her diamond ring clinks against the side of her wineglass. The sound, ting, is a gunshot. Wren's hand has flown to her neck, her fingers clutching the pearls. Her face is a mask of chalky, indignant panic. My mother's smile is gone, replaced by a grotesque, frozen rictus of shock. Her eyes are darting from the screen to me, her expression vibrating with a rage so profound it's almost visible. My father has gone a deep, mottled purple. I lift the microphone. My hand is perfectly steady. "Oh, dear," I say. My voice is light, breezy, laced with a perfect bridal confusion. It seems there's been a terrible, terrible misunderstanding. I turn to my sister, bathing her in my spotlight and my manufactured concern. "Ren, darling?" She flinches, as if I'd slapped her. "It seems you've accidentally picked up my necklace from the dressing room," I say, my tone gentle, as if scolding a child who mistook a toy. "I'm sure you just wanted to try it on, as Mother said, but the party is starting, and I'm supposed to be wearing it for the dinner. Could you please return it now, so we can all get on with this lovely evening?" I am giving her an out, a humiliating, public, but survivable out. Ren, true to form, doesn't take it. She doubles down. "What?" Her voice is a shriek, cracking the silence. "No, that's not, this isn't the same one. This is different. Mother gave this to me. It's mine." "Gave it to you?" I ask, my eyebrows rising in perfect arches of polite disbelief. "But Mr. Davies just confirmed it was legally deeded to me at 217. Before you even put it on," I turn back to the crowd. She must be confused. It's so easy to mix up. Heirloom pearls. I nod to Marco. "Are you sure, Ren? Because the team also got this wonderful close-up just a few minutes ago during the cocktail hour." The screens flicker again. This time, they show two images, side by side, under a clear, bold heading, Asset Comparison. Image A, Church Dressing Room, 2:18:15 p.m. It is the super macro shot of my mother's fingers on the platinum rookwood knot clasp. The unique, hand-tooled filigree is unmistakable. Image B. Ember Hall, 6:35:10 p.m. It is Marco's photo, the one he took of Ren under the chandelier. Her own fingers, with their blush-pink nails, are resting on the exact same, identical, one-of-a-kind clasp. Below the images, text appears. Appraiser's note. Unique, rookwood knot, platinum clasp, serial E774, luster mapping of adjacent pearls, ID 4A, 4B, confirmed as 1-1 match. The evidence is not just damning, it is absolute, forensic. Ren makes a small, strangled sound, like a dying animal. Now, Ms. Thorne, the insurance representative, steps forward. She doesn't need the microphone. Her voice is a honed blade. "Mr. Davies," she says, addressing the lawyer, not me. "As the legal representative for the underwriters, I can confirm the asset in question, now visually located on that young woman, is the one insured under policy 774K, effective 2:17 p.m. today." She turns her cold, appraising gaze on my mother. "Ma'am," she says, using the term as a weapon, "given the video evidence, You were the last individual to have documented possession of the assets container. We now have a documented case of misappropriation, an empty, damaged antique box, and a transfer of possession that is in direct violation of the insurance policy. We will require an immediate incident report for our file, at once. This is ridiculous, my father finally booms, finding his voice. It's a family matter, a mix-up. It ceased to be a mix-up, sir. Ms. Thorne cuts in. The moment your daughter claimed it was hers, and it ceased to be a family matter, the moment it became a felony insurance claim. Now, Mrs. Kent. My mother is trembling. She is vibrating with a lifetime of thwarted entitlement and public humiliation. Her eyes, when they meet mine, are not just angry, they are murderous. This is a misunderstanding, she stammers, her voice, for the first time in her life, weak and thin. Mara, you did this. You planned this. Planned what, Mother? I ask, my voice full of pure, innocent confusion. I planned to have my gift stolen. I planned to have my sister lie about it. I'm just trying to get my property back. I give her my most generous, forgiving smile. I'm sure you can clear this all up. You just misspoke at the church. You didn't mean to let Wren try it on. You meant, well, why don't you tell us what you meant? I hold the microphone out to her. The long silver shaft bridges the gap between us. The spotlight is fully on her now, a harsh, white circle, pinning her like an insect to a board. She stares at the microphone as if it's a venomous snake. Her mouth opens. It closes. A small, pathetic sound comes out, a dry heave of a word. The entire hall, all 200 guests, are frozen. Liam is staring at my mother, his face carved from ice. Eleanor Rookwood is watching, her expression a blank, chilling judgment. No one is eating, no one is whispering. The performance is over. My mother is the star, alone on her stage, and she has forgotten all her lines. They are not an audience, they are a jury, and I, the bride, have just delivered my closing argument. My microphone is still in my hand, the spotlight still on my mother's frozen, horrified face. The silence stretches, thrumming with the collective shock of 200 guests. Evelyn Kent, a woman who has never once in her life been at a loss for words, opens her mouth. A dry, rasping sound emerges. I was just, she stammers, her eyes darting to my father, to Eleanor Rookwood, to anyone but me. I was just holding it, for safekeeping. It's a joke, a mix-up. Mara, tell them, it's a mix-up. Before I can answer, Wren explodes. The mask of childish innocence is gone, vaporized, leaving behind the raw, ugly face of pure narcissistic rage. You're so selfish, she shrieks, her voice cracking. She takes a step toward me, her hand still protectively on the pearls. It's not even yours. It's his family's. It's from the Rookwoods. What, you think you deserve this? You're ruining everything. The logic is so perfectly, pathologically her. It's not yours. It's theirs. So I should have it. I don't raise my voice. I don't even unsmile. You're half right. Wren, I say, my voice cutting through her screech. It was his family's, and, as Mr. Davies so clearly confirmed, at 2:17 p.m., it legally, formally, and irrevocably became mine. Now, my father's voice, a false, booming cannon shot in the tense quiet. He steps forward, his hands spread in a gesture of magnanimous peace. Come on, everyone. This is a wedding. We're all family here. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. Just a simple sisterly mix-up. Right, Mara? He gives me the look, the one that has always worked. The don't you dare embarrass me look. We can all just laugh about this. Let's let this go. A molehill, Mr. Kent? It is Mr. Davies, the lawyer, who speaks. He has taken the microphone from my unresisting hand. His voice is not loud, but it is as cold and hard as the marble floor. A mix-up, sir, he continues, does not typically involve willful concealment in a separate room. It does not involve a coordinated, verbal misrepresentation to the asset's previous owners. And it most certainly does not involve the subsequent, intentional destruction of the antique container, which is an itemized part of the asset's value. We are, I'm afraid, now firmly in the legal territory of willful misappropriation of an insured asset, which carries significant, non-negotiable criminal liability. The word hangs in the air, heavy and lethal, criminal. Wren's face goes from red to a pasty, sick white. My mother sways, her hand gripping my father's arm. This is the moment. I step back into the spotlight, the picture of a gracious, distressed bride. "Oh, Mr. Davies, Ms. Thorne, please," I say, my voice full of a beautifully crafted reluctance. I'm sure my family, they didn't understand, as my father said. It is my wedding day, and that is my family. I look at them, my mother, my father, my sister. Their faces are a three-part harmony of terror and hatred, all directed at me. I would truly hate to escalate this, publicly. I let the word hang, a guillotine suspended by a thread. I turn to the venue manager, Ms. Alvarez, who has been standing by, poised. "Ms. Alvarez, is the library still available?" "Yes, Mrs. Rookwood, as you requested." "Thank you." I turn back to my stunned audience. "Mr. Davies, Ms. Thorne, Liam, darling, mother, father, Wren, perhaps we could all just step into the library, just to sign the incident report Ms. Thorne requires for her file. To clear this up, we should keep this dignified. I have given them a rope. They don't see it's a noose." My father nods, his face a grim mask. "Yes, good. A private discussion." I turn to the stunned, silent room. "Please, everyone," I say, my bridal smile back in place. "Enjoy the appetizers. The band will play. We will be right back." The walk from the ballroom to the library is the longest 30 yards of my life. It is a silent, funereal procession. Liam, his face carved from granite, walks beside me. His parents, Eleanor and Arthur, follow, then Ms. Thorne and Mr. Davies, their briefcases in hand, and then the three accused, walking close together, a tiny, toxic island of mutual defense. Ms. Alvarez opens the heavy, carved oak doors to the library. It is a room of dark wood, green leather, and the smell of old paper. It is a tomb. She closes the door behind us, leaving us in the thick, soundproofed quiet. "Please, sit," I say, gesturing to the heavy mahogany table. They sit, my family on one side, the Rookwoods and their legal financial team on the other. I remain standing at the head of the table. I take my small, beaded bridal clutch from my pocket. From it, I remove my smartphone. I place it on the polished wood, equidistant from all parties. "This is a stressful moment," I say, my voice calm. "I just want to be sure we all remember exactly what is said, for our own records." I tap the screen. The small, red circle of the audio recorder app begins to glow. My mother flinches. "Mara, that's not, Ma." "It's for everyone's protection, Mother," I say. Ms. Thorne places a slim, monogrammed briefcase on the table and opens it. She removes a pre-printed, multi-part form. Insurance Incident Report. Asset 774K. She places it in the center of the table, next to a heavy, expensive-looking pen. "A full, factual account of the incident. In your own words, please," Ms. Thorne says, her gaze fixed on my mother. "We will begin with the initial transfer in the sacristy. Mrs. Kent, why did you take the asset to the bridesmaid's dressing room?" I already told you, my mother blusters, her old confidence trying to reinflate. It was just a mistake, a joke. This is insane. Ren slams her hands on the table. You're treating us like common criminals. This is a setup. You did this. Mara, you wanted this. I don't answer her. I look at Liam, at his father. Then I slide a simple manila folder I had tucked into Mr. Davies's briefcase from my side of the table. It glides over the polished wood, coming to a stop directly in front of my father. Maybe this will help refresh your memories, I say. My father, his hands trembling slightly, opens the clasp. The first thing he sees is not a document. It is an 8x10, high-gloss, high-resolution photograph. The one from Dressing RM Cam. Angle 2. Zoom. It is a crystal-clear, undeniable image of my mother's hands, her lavender nails and sapphire ring, working the intricate platinum clasp as Ren tilts her head, her face a mask of smug anticipation. My mother gasps and drops the photo as if it were on fire. You spied on us, she hisses. That's illegal. It's called documentary filmmaking. Mother, I reply, my voice flat. You consented at the church entrance. Ren, you consented when you mugged for Marco's camera, and you all consented when you clicked the link in my email. My father snorts, a sound of bitter disbelief. What email? Don't be ridiculous. Mara, there was no email. I slide a second piece of paper from the folder. It is a printed log from my email tracking service. It shows 3 distinct lines, 3 email addresses, evelynkent@gmail.com, renk22@gmail.com, and davidkent, kentproperties.com. Beside each one is a timestamp. My father's is clear. Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, 8:52:03 p.m. Link clicked. Wedding, gift, policy, acknowledgement. Status, read. My father stares at his own digital footprint. His face, which had been a mottled purple, drains to a putty gray. He is silent. He is trapped. He knows what an electronic signature is. Ren, seeing her defenses crumbling, her father silenced, her mother defeated, does the only thing she knows how to do. She explodes. You bitch! She screams, the word echoing off the leather-bound books, and with a violent, furious, ripping motion, she undoes the clasp and throws the rookwood pearls. The necklace, an object of priceless history and value, hits the center of the mahogany table with a heavy, sickening thud. It doesn't scatter. It just lies there, coiled and heavy, like a dead snake. I look at it. There, on a single, perfect, cream rose pearl, is a greasy, orange-pink smudge of her foundation. Ms. Thorne looks at the smudge, her lips thinning. She makes a note on a separate pad. Note for the report, she says to the room. Asset returned with significant cosmetic soiling. We will, of course, be billing the Kent family for a full professional cleaning, appraisal, and security restringing. Cosmetic oils can permanently degrade the nacre. My mother, her entire world collapsing, her public, her husband, her favorite child, all failing her, turns on me. It is the last, predictable resort. She will not go down without trying to drag me with her. You did this to us, she hisses, her voice a low, venomous rasp. On your wedding day, you set us up. You planned this disgusting, cruel, public humiliation. You wanted to hurt us. You owe us an apology, Mara, for what you've done to your own family. I let her words hang in the dead air. I let the accusation settle. I do not defend myself. I do not engage. I simply slide a third and final document from my folder. It is a single page, a copy of the insurance appraisal. I have highlighted one number in yellow, the replacement cost. That, I say, my voice quiet, is the amount Ms. Thorne would have been billing you for, starting tomorrow. That is the number the district attorney for Hollow Creek would have used in the complaint for grand larceny, a Class C felony in this state. I look at her. All I did, Mother, was install a lock. You are the ones who chose to pick it. Now, all Miss Thorne needs is the incident report, so she can close her file. I push the pen in the multi-part form toward them. I'll let you three decide who holds the pen first, but your signatures are required, all three of you. My mother's hand is shaking so violently she can't pick up the pen. My father. His face a mask of stone. His eyes dead. Places his hand over hers. He forces her fingers to grip it. He guides her signature, a spidery, illegible scrawl. Then he takes the pen and signs his own name, a sharp, angry slash. Then he shoves the pen at Wren. She snatches it and signs her name with such a vicious, slashing motion that the pen tip rips through the top copy and the carbon beneath. Ms. Thorne, without blinking, slides the entire form into the shredder by the desk and places a fresh identical copy on the table. Again, she says, neatly, or we will be here until sunrise. I have all the time in the world. My father glares, but he guides my mother's hand again. He signs, Wren, tears of pure rage streaming down her face, signs her name with a stiff, controlled precision. Mr. Davies nods, satisfied. He takes the top copy. Ms. Thorne takes the second. She rises, takes a sterile handkerchief from her briefcase, and uses it to lift the soiled necklace from the table. She places it into a new, plain black jeweler's box, which snaps shut with a definitive, final click. She slides the box across the table to me. I do not open it. I simply take it. I look at my phone, still glowing red. I tap the screen to stop the recording. I look at my watch. The toast began at 7:15 p.m. It is now 7:52 p.m. 37 minutes, I murmur, mostly to myself. It took 37 minutes for a lifetime of lessons in respecting boundaries. I stand up, slipping my phone back into my clutch. Thank you all for your cooperation, I say, my voice light again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a party to get back to. My husband is waiting. I leave them there, sitting in the dark, silent room, with the after image of their signatures on their confessions. The necklace is back. The box is in my hand. But my anger is a cold, clean engine, and it is just moving on to the next item on its list. The user wants me to continue the story. This is part 7. The core request is to write the next section based on the provided outline. Outline points. Gift inventory. Mara discovers the envelope from the Rookwoods is missing during the official gift inventory. Camera footage. She requests to see the camera footage, which clearly shows her father taking the envelope. No police. Call finance. Instead of calling the police, she decides to handle it financially and calls in the Rookwoods CFO. The amicable proposal. In a private meeting, she proposes a settlement. Her family must repay the full appraised value of the necklace, as a penalty, even though it was returned. They must repay the value of the money in the envelope. They must write a formal letter of apology. The threat alternative. If they refuse, the complete video evidence will be sent to the police, the insurance company, and will be played publicly at a Rookwood family event the next day. The signing. The lawyer drafts the agreement, under duress. Her father, mother, and Wren sign it. The transfer. The money is transferred immediately. The final cut. Mara sends extra cake to their table. A final act of cold, sharp politeness. Style, sharp, sarcastic, cold. The focus is on financial justice and consequences, not emotional outburst. It's a clinical, business-like execution of revenge. Mental sandbox simulation. Pacing. The transition from the main party back to another confrontation needs to be handled smoothly. The gift inventory provides a natural, logical trigger. Character motivation. Mara's motivation is clear. It's not just about getting the items back. It's about enforcing a cost. The necklace's value as a penalty is a key point. It establishes that their actions have a price tag far beyond the object itself. The Rookwood's role. Liam's anger is the emotional driver for involving the police. Arthur's cold, businesslike approval of Mara's plan shows he understands and respects her methods. He sees her as a peer, not just a daughter-in-law. This solidifies their alliance. The Kent's reaction. David Kent's primary tool is bluffing and appealing to family. When confronted with irrefutable digital evidence, he should collapse. Evelyn and Wren will likely react with shock and outrage, but they have no power here. The dialogue needs to be precise and transactional. Mara's lines should sound like a CEO outlining the terms of a hostile takeover, not a hurt daughter. The lawyer and CFO should be emotionless functionaries. The ending. The final line about the cake is crucial. It's the perfect chilling button on the scene, an act of feigned hospitality that is actually an assertion of dominance. The plan is solid. I will write this section following these points, focusing on the cold, transactional nature of Mara's revenge. I will ensure the word count is within the requested range and that the style is consistent with the prompt. I will not introduce any forbidden names or themes. The output will be a direct response in the chat box. I re-enter the ballroom to a strange, strained atmosphere. The band is playing a little too loudly, as if trying to plaster over the chasm of silence I left behind. Liam meets me at the edge of the dance floor, his face a maelstrom of anger, confusion, and a deep, wounded concern for me. "Mara," he says, his voice low and tight. "Are you all right? What in God's name was all that?" "I'm fine, Liam," I say, and I take his hand. For the first time, it feels less like a lover's touch and more like an anchor. "I'm better than fine. It was just some family business that needed to be tidied up. It's tidy now." He looks from my face to the plain black box I'm now holding. "The pearls?" "Are safe," I say. "Let's not talk about it anymore tonight. Let's just try to have our wedding reception." He nods, though the questions are still churning in his eyes. He is a good man, and good men are not equipped to understand this particular dialect of familial cruelty. He lets me lead him back to our sweetheart table. Dinner is served. Courses arrive and are cleared in a blur. People give toasts, their speeches now noticeably, awkwardly devoid of any mention of the bride's loving family. My parents and Wren have returned to their designated table near the back. They are a small, toxic island in the sea of celebration. They do not eat, they do not speak, they are prisoners, and they know it. At 10 o'clock, just as the dancing is scheduled to begin, Ms. Alvarez, the venue manager, approaches our table. This is the next beat in the symphony, executed precisely on cue. She is flanked by 2 uniformed security guards. "Mr. and Mrs. Rookwood," she says, her voice a discreet murmur, but her presence a public statement. "As per the security directive you initiated, we have completed the full inventory of the gift room. All items have been catalogued and cross-referenced with the guest list." "Thank you, Ms. Alvarez," I say, my voice clear. "Is everything in order?" She pauses, a perfectly calibrated piece of professional theater. "Almost everything. We have one significant discrepancy. The personal envelope from Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Rookwood is not present in the collection." Beside me, Liam goes rigid. "What? That's impossible. I watched my father place it in the birdcage." "As did I confirm. I turn to Ms. Alvarez, my face a carefully constructed mask of alarm. "Are you absolutely certain?" "We have swept the room and inventoried the contents 3 times. Ma'am, it is not there." "But my father," I say, letting a note of dawning horror seep into my voice, loud enough for the surrounding tables to hear. "He mentioned to me, he said he was going to take it to keep it safe. He must have it. He was just being overprotective." Liam's face darkens, the well of trust, the benefit of the doubt he might have extended to my family just hours ago, has been thoroughly poisoned. "Overprotective," he repeats, the word tasting like ash. "Ms. Alvarez," I say, my voice now firm, authoritative. "I know this is highly unusual, but given the other security incident this evening, for the sake of the venue's liability and our insurance, I must insist that we review the security footage of the gift table immediately. Of course, Mrs. Rookwood, she replies without hesitation. The feed is ready for your review in the security office. Thank you, Liam. Darling, would you come with me? And Arthur, I say, catching my father-in-law's eye. He has been watching this entire exchange, his expression unreadable. Perhaps you should join us. It was your gift, after all. Arthur Rookwood, a man who built an empire by recognizing the precise moment to apply pressure, stands without a word. The three of us walk, another silent, grim procession, to a small, windowless office behind the kitchens. The thumping bass of the dance music feels like a heart arrhythmia. On a large monitor, the security technician has already isolated the correct camera feed. The timestamp is glowing in the corner. Please roll the footage from 7:05 p.m. to 7:20 p.m., I instruct. We watch in a cold, clinical silence. We see Arthur and Eleanor Rookwood place the thick, cream-colored envelope into the silver bird cage. We see them turn and walk away, and then we see him, my father, David Kent, drifts into the frame. He circles the table. He glances left. He glances right. His hand darts into the cage. His fingers bypass the thinner envelopes, closing with unerring accuracy on the one from the Rookwoods. The movement is fluid, practiced. He palms it, slips it into the inner breast pocket of his tuxedo, and pats it flat. He straightens his tie. The entire sequence is as clear, blatant, and undeniable as the video of the necklace exchange. Liam makes a low, guttural sound of revulsion. Arthur Rookwood says nothing. His face is impassive, but his eyes are like chips of ice. He has just watched his son's father-in-law, a man with whom he is now financially and familially bound, commit a common theft on camera. Stop the footage, Arthur says, his voice quiet but absolute. Make a digital copy of that segment. Secure the original. Yes, sir, the technician says. We step back out into the service hallway. The joyous music from the ballroom feels like a mockery. I'm calling the police, Liam says, his voice shaking with a cold rage I have never seen in him. No. The word is mine, sharp and final. Liam and Arthur both turn to look at me, their expressions stark in the harsh fluorescent light. No police, I repeat. Not yet. This isn't about public justice. This is about private restitution. This is a financial problem, and financial problems have financial solutions. I look directly at Arthur, meeting his steely gaze. Your family has a chief financial officer, correct? Someone who handles sensitive acquisitions. Arthur's eyes narrow, a flicker of cold, calculating understanding in their depths. He gets it. He speaks my language. We do? I think, I say, that it's time he and I had a conversation with my father. I don't want an arrest. I want a wire transfer. Tonight. Arthur Rookwood looks at me for a long, silent moment. The trembling bride is gone. In her place is someone he recognizes, a negotiator, an executioner, a Rookwood. He nods, once. I'll make the call. 15 minutes later, we are back in the library. The scene is a grim echo of the last, but the cast has shifted. This time, it is me, Liam, and Arthur on one side of the mahogany table. On the other sits my father. My mother and Wren were summoned again. They sit beside him, looking pale and terrified. Collateral damage in a war they don't understand. Mr. Davies, the lawyer, is back. Beside him is a severe-looking man in a pinstripe suit, holding a slim laptop. This is Mr. Sterling, the Rookwood CFO. Mr. Sterling opens his laptop. The soft whirring sound is the only noise in the room. Mr. Kent, I begin, my voice as calm and cool as a bank vault. We have another problem. My father glares at me, his face sullen. We signed your damn paper. It's finished. The first matter is finished, I correct him. But now we have a second, the matter of the missing wedding envelope. My mother gasps. Wren's eyes dart to her father's tuxedo jacket, which is draped over the back of his chair like a shroud. My father attempts a final, pathetic bluff. I have no idea what you're talking about. Then allow me to refresh your memory. I nod to Mr. Sterling. Without a word, Sterling turns his laptop around. He presses play. The silent, high-definition video of my father pocketing the envelope fills the screen. It plays once. Sterling rewinds it and plays it again. My father's face crumples. The bluff evaporates. There is only the ugly, grainy truth. I was keeping it safe, he mumbles. The words weak. A child's excuse. I was going to give it to you at the end of the night. Of course you were, I say, my voice empty of all emotion. But unfortunately, given the evening's prior events, we can no longer operate on good faith, can we? We must now operate on a balance sheet. I slide a single piece of paper across the table. It has just been printed from Mr. Sterling's machine. I am proposing a simple, clean, and immediate resolution. I say, an amicable settlement to avoid any further public discomfort. My father picks up the paper. I watch his eyes scan the lines of text. I watch his face turn from ashen to a deep, apoplectic red. This is blackmail, he sputters. No, I say calmly. This is restitution. Please, read the terms aloud. I want Mother and Wren to fully understand the deal you're being offered. His hands are shaking too violently. Mr. Davies takes the paper from him. I'll read it, he says, his voice a dry monotone. Agreement of financial restitution and apology. The undersigned, David Kent, Evelyn Kent, and Wren Kent, do hereby agree to the following terms in full and final settlement of incidents occurring on October 18, 2025. He pauses, letting the collective responsibility sink in. 1. An immediate wire transfer in the amount of $250,000, representing the full appraised insurance value of the Rookwood Pearl Necklace, to be paid to the Rookwood Family Trust as a penalty for its willful misappropriation. My mother makes a choking sound. But you got it back. We returned it. You did, I say. And in exchange for that, you are not currently in a police station. Instead, you are paying a fine, a lesson fee. Consider it tuition for a very expensive, one-night course in respecting other people's property. Mr. Davies continues. 2. An additional immediate wire transfer in the amount of $50,000, representing the contents of the misappropriated wedding gift from Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Rookwood. 50,000? My father chokes out. How could you possibly know? We don't, Arthur Rookwood says, speaking for the first time, his voice like gravel. But my CFO's projection of the gift I would give my only son on his wedding day is, I assure you, extremely accurate, and it is non-negotiable. 3. Mr. Davies reads on. The composition and signing of a formal letter of apology, the text of which is attached as Appendix A, to be addressed to Mara and Liam Rookwood and Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Rookwood. My father looks like he's about to have a stroke. This is insane. We can't afford this. Mr. Sterling, the CFO, finally speaks. His voice is the auditory equivalent of a spreadsheet. With respect, Mr. Kent, we ran a preliminary asset check on you and Kent Properties LLC in the last 15 minutes. Your liquidity is more than sufficient. I have your primary business account and routing numbers right here. It will be a simple transfer. He turns his laptop back around. A secure banking portal is open on the screen. Of course, I add, my voice soft and dangerous. You are under no obligation to agree to these terms. They all look at me, a flicker of desperate, pathetic hope in their eyes. You can, of course, choose the alternative, in which case Mr. Sterling will not process this transfer. Instead, he will forward the complete, unedited video files from both the dressing room and the gift table, along with Ms. Thorne's signed incident report, to 2 parties. First, the Hollow Creek Police Department, with a formal request to press charges for grand larceny, and second, I pause, letting the moment land. To the event coordinator for the Rookwood family's annual charity dinner, which is tomorrow night, with a request that the footage be played on a loop in the entrance hall. I'm sure your business associates will find it illuminating. I lean back. The choice is yours. A private settlement or a very public ruin. You have 1 minute. Silence. My mother is openly weeping. Ugly. Silent tears. Ren is staring into space, her body rigid with a hatred so pure it's almost a physical force. My father is broken. He looks at the laptop. He looks at me. He sees no exit. He picks up the pen. He signs. My mother signs. Ren snatches the pen, signs her name with a vicious slash, and throws it across the room. Mr. Sterling turns the laptop to my father. Please authorize the transfer. Mr. Kent. My father types in his password. He clicks the mouse. Twice. A green checkmark appears. Transfer confirmed. It is done. I stand up. I walk to the door, then pause, turning back to my family. You know, I say, my voice light and conversational. I just remembered. The pastry chef made a special batch of miniature chocolate lava cakes. They're my father's favorite. I smile at them, a bright, benevolent, bridal smile. I'll be sure to have a waiter bring an extra platter to your table. You all look like you could use something sweet. I walk out, leaving them in the ruins. Politeness, I reflect, is a beautiful thing, especially when it's the blade you use for the final cut. The following evening. The Rookwood family mansion is a universe away from the strained reception at Ember Hall. This is not a party. It is a display. The air in the grand dining hall, a cavernous room lined with ancestral portraits and lit by the fire of 1,000 crystal pendants, smells of old money, beeswax, and hothouse roses. Tonight is the traditional bride's welcome, an intimate dinner for the 50 most important members of the Rookwood inner circle. My family is here. It was a non-negotiable part of the settlement. They sit at a table near the back, a small, dark star collapsing in on itself. My father's face is a mask of gray stone. My mother is wearing a dress that looks too tight, her posture rigid with the effort of not screaming. Ren is staring at her empty bread plate with the intensity of a hawk, her face pale and pinched. They are here as living exhibits of the New World Order. Liam and I stand with his parents in the receiving line, greeting guests. He holds my hand, his grip firm, his eyes full of a new, profound respect. The events of the previous night have been explained to him. He is no longer just my loving husband. He is my staunchest ally. At precisely 8 o'clock, Arthur Rookwood taps a crystal glass with a silver spoon. A hush falls over the room. "Friends, family," he says, his voice a warm baritone that fills the space. "Tonight, we celebrate a new chapter. It is our family's tradition to formally welcome our new daughter and to present her to you all, my son, Liam, and his brilliant wife, Mara." He turns to me and smiles. "Mara, the floor is yours." This is my cue. I walk to the center of the room, a small, temporary podium placed there for this purpose. The pearls are cool and heavy against my skin. They have been professionally cleaned. The smudge of Ren's foundation erased. The lavender scent of my mother's perfume chemically neutralized. They have been reconsecrated. They are mine. I look out at the sea of expectant, powerful faces. "Thank you, Arthur, Eleanor, thank you all," I begin, my voice steady and clear. It's an honor to stand here tonight, not just as Liam's wife, but as a new member of a family that so deeply values legacy, tradition, and clarity. I pause, letting the word land. At the back table, I see my father's jaw clench. "I've been thinking a lot in the last 24 hours about gifts," I continue, my tone light, almost conversational. Not just the beautiful objects we exchange, but the intangible gifts of trust and respect. Sometimes, a gift can get lost. It can be misplaced, put in the wrong hands, and in those moments, it's not the value of the gift that matters, but the clarity and strength required to ensure it finds its way back to its rightful owner. A murmur of polite, slightly confused agreement ripples through the room. I've learned that respect isn't given freely in this world. It's earned, and sometimes it can only be born from the establishment of a firm, undeniable boundary, a line that says, "This is mine, this is my value, this is where you end, and I begin." I am so grateful to be joining a family that not only understands that but celebrates it. I raise my glass. To boundaries, I say, and to the respect they create. The room applauds, a warm, genuine wave of approval. They may not know the specifics, but they understand the sentiment. They understand power. As the applause fades, Eleanor Rookwood rises from her seat. She is holding a slim, elegant portfolio bound in dark blue leather. "Mara," she says, her voice resonating with a quiet, clear authority. "Your words are wiser than you know. You have shown, in a very short time, a strength of character and a profound sense of self-worth that this family deeply admires." She walks toward me, her movements graceful and deliberate. "We had a gift planned for you tonight, but after hearing you speak, it feels more appropriate than ever. The Rookwood Foundation has, for generations, supported causes we believe in. Tonight, we are honored to announce the creation of a new, fully endowed educational grant." She opens the portfolio. Inside is a beautifully calligraphed certificate. It will be a full 4-year scholarship, awarded annually to a young woman who has demonstrated exceptional merit in the face of familial discouragement, a young woman who has been overlooked, or whose accomplishments have been minimized by those closest to her. A wave of shock and admiration moves through the room. It is a gesture of incredible, pointed support. Eleanor turns the certificate so I can see the name, embossed in gold leaf, the Mara Kent Rookwood Grant for Deserving Women. I feel a genuine, sharp sting of tears behind my eyes. This is a gift of true seeing. They see me. They understand. I take a deep breath, composing myself. I smile at my new mother-in-law, a smile of pure, unadulterated gratitude, and then I turn that gratitude into a weapon. "Eleanor," I say, my voice thick with emotion, but my purpose as sharp as a diamond. "This is the most meaningful gift I have ever received. It is so profound, so deeply generous, that I feel I must amend it, just slightly." A flicker of confusion in her eyes. "Oh? A grant like this is born from a lesson, is it not?" I say, turning back to the audience. "A difficult lesson, perhaps, but a powerful one, and I believe that for a lesson to be truly effective, it should honor its teachers." I look toward the back of the room, my gaze landing directly on my family's table. "Therefore, I would be honored to accept this grant, but I must insist on a small change to the name. I believe it should be called the Evelyn and Wren Lesson Grant." The silence that follows is absolute. It is a dense, physical thing. For a moment, no one breathes. Then, somewhere in the front, a man gives a single, choked bark of a laugh. It breaks the spell. A wave of uncomfortable, tittering laughter spreads through the room, followed by a sharp, sudden burst of applause. They get it. Oh, they get it completely. It is a masterstroke of dark, savage, high society humor. At the back table, Wren pushes her chair back, the legs scraping violently against the parquet floor. Her face is a mess of splotchy, crimson humiliation. She is about to flee. "Wren, darling, please, don't go." Eleanor's voice is as soft as silk and as strong as steel. She has moved to my side, a united front. "You must stay." Mara hasn't gotten to the thank you part of her speech yet. Wren freezes, caught in the tractor beam of the matriarch's command. She sinks back into her chair, her body rigid, her eyes burning with a hatred so pure it could melt steel. "Eleanor is right," I say, my voice ringing with a newfound, joyful confidence. "The thank you is the most important part, because a grant of this magnitude needs more than just a name. It needs funding. And I am so incredibly pleased to announce that the Evelyn and Wren Lesson Grant has already been fully funded as of last night." I look directly at my father. His face has gone beyond white. It is translucent. An anonymous party, upon learning a very valuable, very difficult lesson about boundaries and respect, made a significant financial contribution in the amount of $300,000. A collective gasp goes through the room. $300,000. It is a staggering sum, even for this crowd. This donation, I continue, savoring the word, was made in the spirit of restitution, in the spirit of making things right, and I can think of no better way to make things right than to ensure that this lesson continues to give, year after year, to ensure that other young women are given the one thing they truly deserve. I raise my glass one last time. My eyes find Wren's. I hold her gaze, pinning her to her seat. So please, join me in a final toast, I say, my voice ringing with triumph. To my mother and to my sister, thank you for the lesson, and thank you for the funding. I look out at the room, at my new family, at their stunned, admiring faces, and to the young women who will benefit from your generosity. May they always receive the gifts they are truly owed, not as props, not as pawns, but as promises, promises of a future where they are seen, valued, and respected. Hear, hear! Arthur Rookwood's voice booms. The room erupts in applause, louder and longer this time. It is a coronation. I smile, a true, genuine smile. The money is gone, transformed. The shame is public, yet elegantly veiled. The lesson is immortalized, etched in gold leaf on a foundation's charter. The revenge is not just complete, it is perfect. It has been laundered into virtue. The applause finally subsides, leaving a warm, buzzing silence in its wake. Dinner service resumes. I accept the quiet, admiring nods of the guests around me, my face a serene mask of bridal gratitude. I excuse myself from the table, murmuring something about speaking to the caterer. Liam squeezes my hand in understanding. I don't go toward the kitchens. I walk down the long, quiet, art-lined corridor that leads away from the main hall. The air here is cool and still. The distant sound of the string quartet is a muted, elegant heartbeat. I needed this pocket of silence. I needed to step out of the light. I am not alone for long. A shadow falls across the Persian runner. It is my mother. Her back pressed against the damask wallpaper as if seeking support. Her face, in the dim light of the sconces, is a ruin. The carefully applied makeup is a cracked facade over a foundation of pure, unadulterated rage. You embarrassed me, she says. Her voice is not a whisper. It is a low, guttural hiss, stripped of all its social grace. It is the raw, ugly sound of her soul. I stop a few feet from her. I do not get defensive. I do not raise my voice. I simply look at her, a scientist observing a specimen. No, Mother, I say, and my voice is quiet, calm, and devastatingly final. You embarrassed yourself. The moment you chose to unclasp that necklace in the dressing room, your public humiliation became an inevitability. I just chose the time and place for the reveal. She flinches, the truth a physical blow. Before she can reply, my father appears, his large frame filling the hallway. He looks older, smaller. The booming patriarch has been hollowed out. Mara, please, he says, his voice a hoarse, desperate plea. He takes a step toward me, his hands half raised as if in supplication. Enough. It's done. You won. Just don't tell anyone else. Don't let this story get out. My business, my reputation. His world, I realize, has shrunk to this one. Pathetic concern. What will other people think? I don't answer him with words. I simply turn my head slightly to the left and lift my chin. My gaze is directed at a small, discreet dome mounted on the ceiling where the wall meets the ornate cornice. A small, winking red light indicates it is active. A Rookwood security camera. My father follows my gaze. He sees the camera. His face, which was pleading, goes slack with a new, deeper understanding. He is not in a private hallway. He is, and always will be, on a stage he no longer controls. The evidence is not just on a hard drive. It is in the very architecture of my new life. I don't have to tell anyone, Dad, I say, my voice still quiet. The story tells itself now. He drops his hands. He has nothing left to say. Then, the final ghost arrives. Wren. She steps out from a recessed doorway. Her arms crossed tightly over her chest. Her face is pale, her eyes burning with a venomous, tear-bright hatred. "What more do you want from us?" she spits. The question an accusation. "You took the money. You humiliated us. You got your stupid necklace. What else could you possibly want?" She is incapable of understanding. Her brain operates only in the currency of things: money, objects, attention. She thinks this was an acquisition. "I don't want anything from you, Wren," I say, and I mean it. For the first time in my life, I want nothing from them. Not their approval, not their love, not even their apology. Nothing, just this. I hold my hands out, palms facing each other, about 3 feet apart, a visual representation. "This is a boundary," I say. "This is my life. That," I gesture vaguely behind her, "is yours. This is the space between. It's not a negotiation. It's a fact. That's all I ever wanted." Her face contorts in a mask of bitter incomprehension. A boundary, to her, is just a wall she hasn't figured out how to climb yet. I reach into the small, beaded clutch I am still carrying. I pull out a single, thick, cream-colored envelope. Not a gift envelope, a business envelope. It bears the letterhead of Mr. Davies' law firm. I hold it out. My father, his movements slow and robotic, takes it from me. "What is this?" he asks, his voice dull. "It's your severance package," I say. He opens it. Inside are 3 documents. I know their contents by heart. "The first," I explain, as he stares at the pages, "is a copy of the letter of apology you all signed last night. The original has been formally submitted to the Rookwood Foundation archives. It is now a permanent part of the founding documentation for the Evelyn and Wren lesson grant." My mother makes a small, wounded sound. Her shame has been notarized and filed in perpetuity. "The second," I continue, "is the official disbursement schedule for the first scholarship recipient. The first tuition payment, funded by your restitution, will be sent to a very bright young woman from a low-income family in upstate New York on the 1st of next month. I thought you'd appreciate the transparency." My father's hand, holding the papers, is shaking. "And the third," I say, my voice dropping into a cool, clinical register, "is a formal non-contact agreement. It was drafted by Mr. Davies this afternoon. It stipulates that you will not contact me, or Liam, or any member of the Rookwood family, by any means, phone, email, text, or in person, unless it pertains to a documented, life-or-death family emergency, as defined in Appendix B. It is not a suggestion. It is a legally binding condition of the settlement we reached last night. If you violate it, the confidentiality clause is voided, and the full video evidence becomes the property of the Rookwood Foundation, to be used at their discretion." I look at each of them in turn. My mother, my father, my sister, 3 strangers I used to call family. "This is the last time we will have this conversation," I say. "This is the last time we will speak of this. This is the boundary. Do you accept the terms?" The silence in the hallway is absolute. My mother. Her face a mask of grief for a life of control she has just lost, turns her head to the wall, refusing to look at me. It is her final pathetic act of defiance. Wren is just staring at me, her mouth a thin white line of hate. It is my father who answers. He looks at the papers, he looks at the camera. He looks at the long, opulent hallway that represents a world he will now never truly be a part of. He gives a single, sharp, defeated nod. "Yes," he says. The word is a stone dropping into a well. It is done. I turn without another word and walk back toward the grand dining hall. I pause at the entrance, just inside the doorway. I take the black jeweler's box from my clutch. I open it. The pearls lie nestled in the new velvet, clean and luminous. I close the lid. The small, sharp click of the clasp is the loudest sound I have ever heard. It is the sound of a key turning in a lock, the sound of a vault door swinging shut, the sound of a past I am finally leaving behind. Outside that door, the string quartet has finished. A swing band has taken its place. The first notes of a joyful, upbeat song spill into the corridor, the sound of my new life. I put the box back in my clutch and step back into the light. Liam is there, waiting for me. He holds out his hand. I take it. The official photographer is gathering the family for a portrait. Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Rookwood, and the happy couple, please, right here by the fireplace. We move into position. Arthur on one side of me, Eleanor on the other. Liam's arm is secure around my waist. The warmth from the grand fireplace is a comfort at my back. I am surrounded, not trapped, supported. Big smiles. Everyone, the photographer calls out. I look at the faces around me. Eleanor's quiet strength, Arthur's proud gaze, Liam's uncomplicated love. I smile, a real, genuine, and deeply peaceful smile. In the frame of this picture, for the first time in my life, there is only love, there is only strength. There is only respect. The family portrait is done. The photographer, oblivious to the tectonic shifts that have just occurred, thanks us profusely. As the guests begin to drift toward the dance floor, drawn by the band's infectious rhythm, I turn to my mother-in-law. Eleanor stands beside the grand, mahogany mantelpiece, a figure of quiet, unshakable grace. I approach her, my steps measured and deliberate. In my hands, I hold the plain black jeweler's box. The weight of it is no longer a burden. It is an anchor. Eleanor, I say, my voice low and clear, meant only for her. I believe this belongs in a safer place now. I hold the box out to her. She takes it, her hands covering mine for a brief, warm moment. It is a transfer of trust, a silent acknowledgement of all that has passed. Indeed it does. Mara, she replies, her eyes shining with a fierce, proud approval. Welcome to the family. She turns and walks to a large, oil painting of a stern-faced Rookwood ancestor. With a quiet click, she swings the painting outward, revealing the heavy steel door of a wall safe. She spins the dial, her movements practiced and precise. The safe opens with a deep, satisfying thud. She places the box inside, on a velvet-lined shelf, next to other, similar-looking boxes. It has gone home. She closes the safe, swings the painting back into place, and turns to a heavy leather-bound book resting on a nearby lectern. It is the Rookwood family register, its pages filled with the spidery calligraphy of generations. One final tradition, she says, handing me an old fountain pen. Every new bride signs the register on her wedding night. She opens the book to a fresh, clean page. At the top, in elegant script, is today's date. I take the pen. The nib scratches softly against the thick, creamy paper as I sign my new name, Mara Kent Rookwood. The ink is a deep, permanent black. I have made my mark. I have been entered into the ledger. As I set the pen down, the band leader, a man with a dazzling smile and a sequined jacket, steps to the microphone on the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announces, his voice booming with practiced enthusiasm. "In just a moment, our happy couple will take the floor for their very first dance as husband and wife. But before they do, I'd like to invite our beautiful bride, Mara, to say one final word to you all." He gestures to me with a flourish. All eyes in the room turn to me once again. Liam is already on the edge of the dance floor, his hand outstretched, his face full of love. This is not a performance I planned for, but it is the one that is required. It is the closing line of the play. I walk to the center of the room, my dress whispering around me. I don't take a microphone. I just let my voice, clear and calm, fill the expectant silence. "Thank you," I say, my gaze sweeping over the faces of my new family, my friends, the 200 witnesses to my transformation. "Thank you," I repeat, for being here to teach me one of life's most important lessons. I pause, letting the words settle. I see the flicker of confusion, of curiosity. Thank you for helping me learn that a gift, no matter how precious, can never fix a lack of respect. My eyes, for a final fleeting moment, drift to the back of the room, to the darkened corridor where my past is standing. Only a boundary can do that. Flash. A photographer's flashbulb erupts, a miniature star exploding in the dim, warm light of the ballroom. For a single, eternal second, the entire world is bleached white. The image is seared onto film, onto memory. My face, not triumphant, not angry, but perfectly, profoundly serene. A small, calm smile on my lips, my eyes clear and steady, the pearls, a luminous guard at my throat, the picture of a woman who has not won a war, but has simply, finally, declared peace on her own terms. The afterimage of the flash fades. The world returns to color. I turn away from the crowd and walk toward my husband. I place my hand in his. He pulls me close, his arm a strong, safe circle around my waist. The band strikes the first, soft notes of our song. We step onto the dance floor. We are the only two people in the world. The room blurs into a soft focus haze of crystal and candlelight. His hand is warm on my back. My head rests against his shoulder. We move together, a single, fluid motion. This is not a performance. This is a beginning. Over his shoulder, through the swirling dancers, I see the grand double doors of the ballroom begin to swing shut. A waiter is closing them to give the dancers their moment of privacy, to dim the lights further, to create the magic of the evening. In the widening sliver of the closing doors, I catch a final glimpse of the corridor beyond. I see three figures, standing in the shadows, their faces downturned, their shoulders slumped in the universal posture of defeat. My father, my mother, my sister. The doors close with a soft, final thud. They are gone. No more words are necessary. The argument is over. The need for revenge has been cauterized, paid for in full, and converted into a charitable foundation. The money has been returned. The necklace has been restored. The boundary has been established. The rest of my wedding night stretches before me, clean and uncomplicated, its beginning as clear, binding, and final as a signature on a page. The scene fades to black. The end. Thank you so much for listening to our story tonight. We would be absolutely thrilled to hear from you. Let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. We love seeing how far our stories travel and hearing your thoughts. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like, and to help us reach even more listeners. Please support us by hitting that hype button. It makes a huge difference and ensures stories like this one get heard by a wider audience.